Tomorrow is going to be primary day in New York. Primary day meaning a couple congressional seats are up for grabs. Particularly, I want to talk about in this video the 1st and 2nd congressional districts in New York, which are in Long Island. The 11th district, a very hotly contested Republican primary race in Staten Island, the 11th district. And I also want to talk to you about the 19th district. There's a Republican that might act. Now, what's up with Lee Zeldin in Suffolk County? The incumbent was first elected in 2014. He was a state legislator before that. He did vote in favor of repealing Obamacare. But this is a very big thing that we need to talk about as we end my point about Mr. Zeldin. Yeah, there we go. He voted against the tax bill, which was a rollback of deduction for state and local taxes, particularly hurting high-tax states like New York. There are a lot of Democrats running in this field. There are two people who stand out from the rest. Kate Browning, who fled Ireland during the Troubles and used to be a school bus driver. She is one of the top two fundraisers on the Democratic side. But there is a business executive who I think is going to win this race tomorrow, Perry Gershon. He put $600,000 of his own money into the race. So honestly, the way I look at it, Elaine DeMasi, David Povetsky, and maybe Vivian Fisher may have a chance. I think she does. But not Elaine DeMasi and David Povetsky. No, count them out. We may have to see if Vivian Fisher makes up a little bit of ground on the ballot tomorrow. We'll have to see if she does gain some ground, and she used to be a former Suffolk County official, so very important that people have a third choice here. Yes, this is definitely a safe Republican. The Democrats are just hoping that there will be enough independent and moderate voters that are anti-Trump, and honestly, I don't think that's going to happen. I think, honestly, Lee Zeldin's going to keep his seat. I'm not too worried about that. But I am worried about the second seat. And this Vox article, I'm very annoyed that they didn't talk about it. And obviously because Mr. PinepowerLi was talking about this race in the 2nd district. Here are two Democrats right now, Dwayne Gregory and Louisa Gretchen Shirley, and honestly, the Democrats are likely going to end up voting for this person right here, Louisa Shirley, because honestly, Louisa Shirley is leading in every poll. Dwayne Gregory has no chance, honestly. And again, it's because they're from the preppy little white South Shore of Long Island. So it proves that they are a bunch of racists down there. I'm sorry for making it a little personal. But honestly, Dwayne Gregory is going to lose. And honestly, I will be very surprised if the snobs actually voted for Dwayne Gregory. Alright, so basically you have Dwayne Gregory. He's a legislator. He was the presiding officer of Suffolk County legislator. Oh boy, he said Peter King was acting like a Siamese twin. And then you have an activist from Amityville. That's who Louisa Shirley is. She's only 37 years old. My goodness. And here's the ironic thing. Peter King lives in Massapequa. Let me highlight that here. And honestly, they are trying to take down Peter King. And honestly, I don't want Peter King to lose. Because Peter King has a very important role in Congress, which I forget what it is right now. But honestly, I do not want Peter King losing. And honestly, tomorrow, I expect Louisa Shirley to win. If Dwayne Gregory wins, as I said, it'll be one of the biggest upsets of all time. I'll just be shocked and surprised. Just because, again, the snobs like Louisa Shirley, they can relate to her in a way. And if you want to know more about that race, just watch PinepowerLi's video. He did I'll put the link for it in the description below. He went more in depth, but This is the one I want to keep my eye on very closely. The 11th Congressional District in Staten Island and Western Brooklyn. Dan Donovan versus Michael Grimm. And this is something interesting because there was a poll, and I was watching Eyewitness News up close because I have a way to watch Eyewitness News up close down here in Maryland. I was watching it yesterday, and Bill Ritter was mentioning on the program, the host of Up Close, he was talking about how Michael Grimm is actually leaning in one of the polls. But that poll was taken before President Trump endorsed the incumbent Dan Donovan. Alright, so the incumbent Dan Donovan and former tax evader, yes, former congressman, because honestly, there's two formers into it. Maybe he is paying his taxes. Maybe he's trying to pay the truth. We don't know. Mr. Grimm is attacking Donovan as a soft Republican for voting against the tax bill and Obamacare repeal. He got the backing of Steve Bannon and Anthony Scaramucci for whatever it's worth. So here's the ironic thing. Two former people in the Trump administration are actually backing Michael Grimm. He also bizarrely claimed Donovan had told him that he would seek a pardon for Grimm from Trump if Grimm did not challenge him in the primary. So basically, it looked like if Michael Grimm was still in jail, he was going to beg President Trump for a pardon. Oh boy. Yeah, there was one public poll that showed that Michael Grimm was leading Donovan by 10 points, but Trump did sided with Donovan. This will be, this is honestly, again, I don't care if you are in New York or not, and, you know, you should keep an eye on this race, because this is an interesting race. And keeping in mind where I am in Maryland, there are a lot of Republicans here, and honestly, people down here may keep an eye on this race. They're not going to watch the cable networks because, again, you have all the fake news out there. So, if possible, I may have to make a reaction video tomorrow. Because, honestly, I want to know who's going to win this race. Because that was before Dan Donovan endorsed President Trump. And Trump was doing that because he needs the establishment's support, I feel. So he's worrying that if he doesn't get support from his party, and his party doesn't have favorability in Congress, then the president is expecting to have a big Democratic challenger in 2020 for the presidency. So, you have, honestly, that's why I think Trump did endorse Dan Donovan. Okay, we have a Democrat, Max Rose, a post 9/11 combat veteran, has earned the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee's red to blue imprimatur. I can't even read this word, I'm so sorry. Union-backed Omar Fiad. So basically, Max Rose and Omar Fiad, that's not the real issue. Yeah, see, the district went 10 points for Trump because, again, Staten Island's usually a conservative area. And then lastly, we have John Vaso in upstate New York. This is something interesting to keep an eye on. The incumbent is Congressman John Vaso. He was first elected 2 years ago. He voted against the tax bill, but he did vote for Obamacare repeal. There are a bunch of viable candidates. Antonio Delgado, he's the guy that everyone's fascinated on in that district. He has been campaigning a lot in that district. He's been knocking on doors. He's an old-fashioned type of guy. He's basically trying to take down a Republican in that area. Yeah, businessman Brian Flynn putting a lot of his own money in the race. Garth Rose is a former Andrew Cuomo staffer with the New York Times endorsement. Minister Dave Klurg is a longtime community leader. There's also a former diplomat and CIA officer Jeff Beals and Aaron Kalir, a former economist in the Barack Obama administration, and the only woman in this race. So basically, it's a widely open race. We don't really have a poll at the moment, but right now, from what I'm making out, and I've been keeping an eye on this one too, I really like Antonio Delgado's chances tomorrow. I really think he has a chance because, again, he's not establishment. He is a lawyer, number one, and most of these politicians are lawyers. That I'm aware of. So I did look up Antonio Delgado. He is associated with the New York State Bars Association, so that is an impressive thing to me, I guess. But again, lately people associated with the New York State bars are usually convicted of crimes, most cases. So let's hope Antonio Delgado doesn't end up like all of those people. But end this point, Cook's race, this race is a R+2 and a straight up toss up, so it should be competitive no matter who emerges on the Democratic side. And again, I'm expecting Antonio Delgado to win. So we'll just quickly take a look at his website to end this video. I think it would be fair to just show you his website because it's a very impressive, very impressive website. So let me just pull it up. So you Google his name, and this is what comes up. The website comes up. And he's also been advertising a lot on the New York station. So this is, of course, Antonio Delgado over here. If you see his website, he talks about the issues. He's also asking for volunteers, of course, like I figured. This is his family, of course. And you can, comes up immediately as donating, whatever. But I don't know. If this guy loses tomorrow, I'll be very surprised because a lot of people are very impressed with this guy in that district. And can I blame them? No, because from what I'm making out from the TV ads, it looks like people are very enthusiastic about his campaign. So I'm calling it. I really think Antonio Delgado will win the primary in District 19 tomorrow. I really think it's going to be a close one. But honestly, Pat Ryan is the only closest guy, I think, who could defeat him by any chance. It's an open race, as Fox was saying, but honestly, if Antonio Delgado loses tomorrow, I'd be very surprised. Because something about him makes me feel like he's going to win that primary tomorrow. So, that's it. That's what you need to know tomorrow. If you're going to be voting in the primaries tomorrow, please remember to use your democratic right to vote as an opportunity. I encourage you to please vote tomorrow. It's very important. I think tomorrow is also primary day in Maryland. I'm not too sure. I'll quickly find that out as we end this video. We'll just Google it. Primary day in Maryland. Let's find out. I'm pretty sure primary day is, yeah, like I figured. Also tomorrow, everyone, if you are registered to vote in Maryland, please vote tomorrow as well. If you have a couple congressional districts, I encourage you to vote. Also tomorrow here in Maryland, we do have a primary for governor tomorrow. So if you are a Democrat in Maryland, please vote tomorrow. Use your right to exercise your right to vote, of course. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.